Good morning and welcome once again to our daily prayer message coming to you from a beautiful Carmel Mission Basilica. I'm out here in the courtyard this morning and I'd like to share with you a poem by one of my favorite American poets, Mary Oliver. Mary Oliver died last year at the age of 83, and she was described by the New York Times as one of the most popular poets of our age. Her poetry combines a darker introspection with a joyous release, and she quite often draws her imagery from the world of nature, but there's often a deeper message for us humans in all her poetry. This is one of her most popular poems, and I found that when I've asked people to name their favorite poem, they often mention this poem. It's called The Journey. The Journey by Mary Oliver. One day, you finally knew what you had to do and began, though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble, and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. Though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds. And there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. The journey to know oneself is indeed a lifelong one, and all of us are offered bad advice from time to time which we must resist. All of us tend to become ensconced and maybe a little too comfortable and complacent in bad habits and ways of thinking. And we are asked by God to come forward, to move into a new relationship with the world of creation, the world of humanity, and the world of the Spirit. The person that God created and that God sees and loves is inside each of us, but sometimes it takes us quite a while for us to discover that person. In the Gospel of Mark, Jesus says, "Love your neighbor as yourself." And we often get stuck on love your neighbor. Who is my neighbor? But the part that we tend to avoid is love your neighbor as yourself. So implicit in that command is that we must love ourselves. Why? Because God loves us. God loves us with a love that can never be measured. We must care for ourselves, protect ourselves, and nurture ourselves. Not out of any sort of egotism or selfishness, but out of respect and love for who we are as a person created in God's own image and likeness. This can at times be even more difficult a task than loving somebody else, but it is no less essential for our own health and well-being, and for our continued connection to our loving God. As always, I ask you to please send your prayer requests to myself and Father Rodrigo at our website, carmelmission.org. Just go on the prayer requests button And we will take those intentions with us in our daily prayers and private masses. I continue to wish you a great new hope in your hearts and profound peace.